This is Fam Electric Ghost, and this is our continuing series of song deconstructions. We're talking about a song called You Must Be Crazy If You Think I'm Gonna Come Crawling Back to You. And like we've said before, we are an electronic band. And I say we because I create characters such as Josephine Electric and Stephanie and the Phantom using vocoders. And I'm basically a one-person band, somewhat inspired by the Gorillaz, but I come from this different focus of having phantasms or ghosts being the primary characters that I create, somewhat similar to what Damon Albarn does with the 2D and all the characters in the Gorillaz. I pretty much am every one of those characters, and in Phantom Electric Ghost. And one of the styles that we like to do for recording is we do Facebook Live events, live shows using a Go mixer in our iPhone on a tripod, and then we hook it directly to our mixer on our workflow, which has real analog and digital sense, and we record a live show that sometimes goes 30 minutes to an hour. And in some cases we go take the feed from that and do overdubs or remix it, remaster it, and create songs. This particular song was from a live jam on Facebook a couple months ago, and we put it out there on Spotify and iTunes and Tidal and everywhere else. It's done pretty well. It is somewhat of a long track, but it was basically capturing, the vibe of that night, was to kind of do a song that's like, you've done me wrong type of song, and have Josephine basically talking about how she's never going to go back to this person that basically kind of ripped her heart apart. And it just is, a typical romance song like that. But it's using, the hardware workflow, focusing with the modes I have, the Mother 32 and the DFAM. And it just felt really good. And for some reason I was able to just sometimes I have a complete thought when I'm playing live, and I'm able to actually, do a pretty good take on a song. Sometimes I go back and I try to restructure it, but this particular song, I really liked it so much. I kind of pretty much kept it as is. It just got remastered and remixed. And so it's a total live performance. And how I do it is, I'm using the drummer for Another Mother. I'm using JDXI, and the master control for a lot of the things is the Arturia BeatStep Pro that I'm able to control up to 3 devices with that. And in addition, I have, the DFAM, which I can kind of control through its filters and switching between oscillators and switching on the filter, and the envelope generator. I can just play with that and do a lot of variation. I just am able to kind of use the analog instruments since they're in front of me. And when I'm recording live or going to a digital audio workstation, I'm able to, play on the fly. And so it allows me to be a one-person band because of the setup I have. And a lot of times, there's some things I do prep for a show. I'll have a lot of beats that I built with their BeatStep Pro. I'll have some things I preset on the Moog Mother 32 and my System 1M synth. So there's a lot of things I'll do, and there's a lot of pre-work I do that have tones set up to, have an idea what I'm going to do. I might rehearse prior to the show and have a general concept. But sometimes I've gone cold into it. In this particular one, I pretty much went cold into it, other than I came up with the idea for the lyrics and kind of wrote it down, reviewed it for a little bit, and then just went with what my gut feel was once I started running my rhythm section. And a lot of times I do polyrhythmic rhythm sections by using the DFAM to create kind of like a click track with an analog drum beat that's somewhat simple. And then I use the more complex drums coming from the Arturia BeatStep Pro, and I use a JDXI that has a lot of drum machines built in it. It has has 808, a 909, 727, a bunch of different drums inside of it. And then if you use the Arturia BeatStep Pro, you're able to extend the length of the drum pattern. If you use the JDXI natively, you only have like a 4-bar drum pattern that you can use. But when you extend it to a BeatStep Pro, you have the ability to do chain patterns that are relatively complex and could be a lot longer, significantly longer. Because you can take multiple patterns that might have like 16 steps in them and then have like, 8 of them. And if you keep on rotating with the order, because what's really cool with the Arturia BeatStep Pro, in the middle of a performance, you can change the order in which the patterns happen. You can just hold a shift button and start bouncing around. And so what that does is create some variability to the drums. And if you're a one-person band, it's pretty cool that you can actually do that. You can always override and play the drums on the JDXL itself through the keyboard. I can play it through the pads on the BeatStep Pro. I can actually, play the pads on my Arturia Mini Brute 2S. And the Mini Brute 2S has a lot of capabilities as a drum machine. The 2S is the version without the keyboard, and the pads and the sequencer are very powerful. But what I find is I haven't even been using the sequencer that heavy. I actually am using the looping capability and the ADSR, the attack decay attack envelope on this machine, and it is very good at running very interesting patterns. By using the LFO and using the ADSR, you can do very complicated patterns that are very interesting, and I've been actually focusing on that machine for weird atmospheric sounds and drum sounds. I haven't fully explored what my Arturia Mini Brute can do. A lot of the time I'm using it as a conduit for my Eurorack modules because I have it connected to a rack brute, and inside the rack brute I have the Mother 32 and a DFAM. So in a lot of cases the DFAM and the Mother 32 are kind of driving the process. But I also have Make Noise math module, which is very, it's awesome. It allows you to do a lot of cool modulation, a lot of cool control over anything in the Eurorack. And I have, as I said, the Mother 32 and the drummer from another mother in the Eurorack. And there's very interesting things you can do by routing those signals into the math module. I also have, which is a really cool thing to have in the Eurorack, is a 4x2 mixer from Pittsburgh Modular Pittsburgh Instruments, and it's really cool because what you can do is you can bring all your signals from the rack brute, and then control the levels. What's coming from the DFAM, what's coming from the Mother 32, what's coming from the math module, and I also have a Morphogene for Make Noise, which is an awesome sampler. They can do over 3 minutes worth of sampling, and then kind of rip apart the sample. You can time shift it. You can run it like a tape loop forward and backward. You have a lot of control. And what I found is you can play the filter on it. You can kind of play similar to what you can do on a Moog, what you do with like a mini Moog or a Mother 32 or a DFAM. And you can use it musically to create patterns and, like melodies with the sounds, and you can kind of use it like another oscillator. And I found that that's very useful, and I've used it to a lot of effect on a lot of tracks. And it just gives you a lot of cool sonic flourishing. And that also is what I do with the System 1M, which is a behavioral modeling synth. It's a desktop synth. I have it out in a rack in my setup, and it creates a lot of really cool atmospheric sounds that I use to great effect. I control it with an Arturia BeatStep Pro, so I'm able to trigger sounds, and sometimes I have patterns running in songs that are coming from that. They're very atmospheric, and they're just like flourishes, sonic painting type things. And I have a System 1 MX1 mixer. So the MX1 mixer is like my first step of mixing, and all my instruments go into it, and I control their levels in that before I send them all those signals into a Zoom R24. The R24 allows you to do all kinds of different mastering patterns and recording patterns, mic patterns where you can do like dual mic, single mic, master something directly to a master or go do it in different sonic profiles. I've been exploring a lot of the capabilities of my R24, which I previously had an R16. The R24 has a lot more headroom, creates a better mix than the R16. It's not just that it has extra track, it seems to record at a higher level of quality and captures a lot of the signal, especially with vocals. It just pulls in a better vocal. And part of it also the increase in my capabilities on my vocals. I have a Studio Electronics microphone on a tripod, and I've been running it as its own signal, and I convert it to stereo through my mixers. So, typically a microphone like a Studio Electronics microphone, it's a monophonic microphone. But when you I route it into like a VTO3 vocal transformer, and that turns it into a stereo signal. And then I bring that into my MX1, and I control additional stereo effects and sonic profiles. And then I send it to my R24, and I can have additional profiles. So I have a lot of different sonic profiles I can do in my workflow through using the hardware. It's somewhat similar to what you can do with a DAW, but I am limited in my choices, but I think sometimes the limitation in my choices, it's restricted by what my hardware can do. But my hardware, is using analog synths and, really interesting, mixers like the MX1 and the Zoom R24. And so there's a lot of different choices you can make in those machines. Maybe not as many as you can do with a plugin, but I'm able to do a lot of cool things. And if I use my analog synths, there's a lot of interesting overrides with controlled voltage, patching of the initial workflows of these semi-modular synths. And you can, run a mic into a Moog and run through the filter. You can then do a lot of interesting analog processing with that capability. I find it very interesting, and I like having recording directly at the instruments, because then I can just make choices based on the dials and the knobs and all the sliders in front of me. Instead of going into a computer and kind of using my mouse to find something, I can get the feel by just changing a dial immediately, and it's like right there, and then I can just start recording live. And I like to put things down by actually playing the parts on a keyboard. And that might be a limitation to some people that are not keyboard players or not, pure musicians. So they need to use alternative input methods to create their music. But a lot of people use MIDI keyboards, and they figure out how to do it, and then they re-edit in a DAW. I've been, staying away from the DAW as much as I can. I pretty much do everything in this hardware workflow. Everything is done on the Zoom, really. And then by the time I get to any kind of service, I use Landar.com to master my stuff and publish everything that I do. It was like a shameless plug for Landar. But yeah, they're my publisher. They're how I master everything. I do master things before it even gets there through my Zoom. But there's a second master that I do through Landar to get the quality up to be able to publish to, all the streaming services. So let's do a little business. We are accepting fan support now. You can subscribe to Fan Electric Ghost for $1 a month, for $4.99 a month, and $9.99 a month. This money will be used to help us continue our interview show with indie artists around the world. I Uber and Lyft, and this fund will keep me in the studio rather than doing that, because any money we receive on there, then I don't have to go out and do the Ubering, which I don't mind doing because it helps me buy my gear. But if we could get some fan support, we're also interested in using the fan support so we can do product reviews and get that process going. We want to start reviewing all kinds of electronic instruments. We're very interested in the Moog grandmother. If Moog is listening, we'd like to include that on a Fan Liquid Ghost song. It would be cool if they would help us out with that. We are also interested in the Prophet X. We're very interested in Analog Solutions' new sequencers and their Fuse box, which we think is an awesome machine. We've been looking at the Theravox, which we find is an awesome instrument that would be something we want to, use as a lead instrument. We think it provides like a Pink Floyd psychedelic guitar-focused input for a keyboard player. It's a very interesting machine. If you've seen it at a NobCon, it is based on a French synth. It doesn't have a traditional keyboard. It has like a metal keyboard that doesn't actually move. It has the indentation. It has the basic note patterns of a keyboard, but they don't physically move. It's like all metal. And then it has a string that goes across the length of the keyboard with a ring. And then it has pedal controllers. I think it only has 2 oscillators. And it allows you to do, through foot pedals and other input methods, like the pressure buttons on it, to bend notes, kind of like a pedal steel guitar, but it's a synth. And to me, I'm always looking for new alternative methods of playing, because, being a keyboard player, it's cool to play a keyboard, but synthesizers sometimes lend themselves to playing in different ways. And this brings like more of a really guitar-focused way of playing, or even a violin way of playing a synth. And it seems to have a really cool vibrato and pitch bending capabilities, note bending capabilities. And so I find it very interesting. And so we're looking for, the fan support, and we're also interested in a co-host to do interviews for indie artists around the world. You can send me a voice memo through Anchor FM or favorite Fan Liquid Ghost. You can send a direct voice memo if you want to have your band involved in this, and also not only promote your band, but talk to other bands around the world and other artists, because I think when you talk to other artists, it always helps to get different viewpoints on recording and music and different genres, and this communication with different artists is always a good idea. So we'll talk to you guys later, and thank you for listening.
over. The looking glass, you can never know what's on way next. My next move. Never know what's coming around.
Crazy if they think I'm lying back to you. Maybe we should bring out the first holder. Or maybe you could turn those screws. If I turn on those first holders, maybe you could turn those screws and turn that first holder. Tell what you gonna do. You're gonna turn on that first holder. Not know what to do. All I want is share it with you. All I want is share it with you. I'm feeling. Oh, it feels so good. All I do is think with you. But you can tell the truth. And you can't tell the truth. With you. When you give it under and you won't tell me the truth.